Hi, I'm just back from the second day of our rescue operations. We have now been able to press into service 5 boats, fishing boats, which have actually come from about an hour and a half away from the seashore. And those have been pressed into the most needed areas. And along with the government, we are trying to reach the most needy places. Now, I came back today, and it's morning now because what happened was I went yesterday. We went so far inside that by the time we wanted to turn back, it was too dark. And by God's grace, there was a house which looked abandoned, but actually there were two older people, well past their maybe late 70s, 80s, and they were there alone with just a helper on the roof of the house. And everything on the ground floor was completely flooded, and you had dining tables floating around, sofas floating, television, the fridge, everything on the ground floor is completely floating. They got their clothes and stuff on the upstairs, so we actually spent the entire night with them, and we kind of could experience some of the things with no electricity, no running water, no telephone range, and it's not an easy situation. Yesterday, as we went to different places, there are two stories which actually maybe it will convey the gravity of the situation. The first thing is a very sad situation because when we went to these interior places, especially the boat I was in, there was a person who was a localite, means a person who is from there. He knew the way. Now, why do we need a person like that? It's because the roads and the paddy fields and the houses, you really don't know what is where. It just looks all the same. So he was actually telling us in the night when we were all just about to go to sleep in candlelight, he was telling, you know, there's a young man, he's 28 years old, I know him, and we need to desperately find him. His wife just called me. I said, what happened? So he said, see, he was actually returning from somewhere else into this area where his family, that is his young 1.5-year-old kid and his wife, stays. Now, on the way to this place, he was walking. He reached a place where he realized that it was actually getting flooded and the water was rising quite fast. So he quickly went into a house nearby, and that house was abandoned already. I mean, the people had gone and locked the house, and there was a car there, and he stood on top of the car because the water suddenly kind of rushed up, and he called 3 people, his father, his wife, and this particular man who was with us on the boat. And he called and said, the water is rising so fast, I'm in this place, please come and rescue me. It's been 3 days. We have no idea where he is. We don't know whether he's alive. We don't know whether he's um, somewhere stranded. We don't want to hope for the worst, but thinking about his wife and his young kid, we don't know. We need to pray. The other story is actually good news, which because we went and to rescue some people on a tractor. So when we went on the main road, people stopped us and said, can you please take these 6 people? They can't walk anymore. So we said, what happened? They had actually gone to a sawmill, a mill which actually saws wood and makes paper and all. And this was in a location which is completely flooded. In fact, helicopters were the only ones who were kind of picking people up from there. Somehow they missed it, 6 of them. So they waded through water, neck up, neck deep. They swam. Somehow they came to some places. But if you ever walked in water for half a mile, you know how difficult it is. And they walked for many hours to come to the main place. And by the time we saw them, they were so like shivering, shaking, exhausted, and kind of falling over. So we took them in our tractor and we came back and we dropped them to the main city. From there to the relief camp they could go to. So the relief and the rescue efforts are continuing. We still have all the 5 boats out there, different teams going in. Thankfully, the rain has stopped. Water has actually receded. Like, I was there in the house yesterday where we stayed. When we went in at night, the walls of the house were completely not seen, but today we could see in the morning, which means at least 1.5 feet of water has dropped, which are all good signs. But we need to do a lot more. So please pray and continue to support us. May God bless you.